What is the correct British pronunciation of were? Well, if you're a non-native English speaker who wants more confidence in English and to speak English with a clear British accent, then in this English pronunciation tutorial, you're going to learn the British pronunciation of were, why there are in fact two pronunciations of were in English, why you're probably using the wrong one most of the time, and I'm going to show you how to clearly pronounce this word, how to avoid the mistakes that most people make with this word, and then finally how to integrate it into your English speech in a way that will help you to use English rhythm like a native speaker would in English. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be confident with this word and you will never have to doubt yourself again when you're using the British pronunciation of were. Make sure to stay until the end for the bonus tip, which is going to be really useful for you. Let's dive in. So first of all, there are two pronunciations of the word were. The first one is the one that you've probably heard already, which is were. The second is were. I'm going to explain why you need to know both of these pronunciations in a moment, but first of all, what are the mistakes that you might be making with this word? The first mistake that people make with this word is they will pronounce the W sound, were, as a V sound and say ver, ver, ver. Okay, if you're having difficulty with the W and the V sound in English and clearly pronouncing both of them, then I've got a tutorial in the description of this video that will show you step by step how to pronounce both sounds clearly and confidently, and it's helped a lot of people, so it'll help you too. But the first thing is to make sure that your W sound is a clear W sound and not a V sound, ver, where your bottom lip is touching your top teeth. That's the first thing, and this actually applies to both were and w pronunciation. Okay? The second thing in were is the long English vowel sound. This is one of the most important vowel sounds to be confident with in English, and yet it's also one of the sounds that people struggle with the most. So I've got a 3-video playlist that will teach you step by step how to master this sound. Look in the description for that. But bringing these two sounds together, for the strong pronunciation of were, this is what you get. Were, 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 were. Don't make an or sound, war, and don't move your mouth too much as you're making the sound and get something like war, war, war. For clear British pronunciation of were, you want to very simply make the W sound, let your lips relax into the position, and then very simply hold the vowel sound. Like this. Were, were, were. If I put that into a phrase, we were. The second pronunciation of the word were is were. Okay, what you're doing here is very simply making the W sound and then just coming out of it into a schwa sound. All right, the schwa sound is the most important and most common vowel sound in English. It's an unstressed vowel sound, and it's one of the sounds that gives English its rhythm. Okay, so it's really important. The way we're going to say were is just very simply that. Were, were, were. Now here's what's important about this pronunciation of the word were. You will never stress this pronunciation. So if you're ever going to stress the word were, you will always use the strong pronunciation, which is were. Okay, you only ever use the word were in unstressed situations. And here's why. This is why there are two pronunciations of this word. Because English is a stress-timed language, what that means is we go between stressed and unstressed syllables all the time in English. English is a continuation of stressed and unstressed syllables alternating, which is what gives English its rhythm. If you want to speak English like a native, or have a clear British accent, or just speak English in a more natural way, then understanding the difference between stressed and unstressed syllables is vitally important. And it's one of the main things that's going to give you a really nice, clear and confident English pronunciation. So when would you actually use both pronunciations of the word were? If you're going to say were at the end of a phrase with nothing after it, for example, we were, then you would use the strong and long pronunciation of this word. For example, if I said to you, were you and your friends at the party? You could say, we were. And if that were is at the end of the phrase, you're going to pronounce it were with the long pronunciation. If you're also talking about the word like I am here, you're going to use its strong pronunciation. So I'm talking about the word were, which is why I'm pronouncing it were and not were. The other time that you will stress this word and use its strong pronunciation is if you are stressing this particular word in a phrase. For example, if you said to me, you weren't there yesterday, and I want to stress that we were there yesterday, I'm going to say, we were there yesterday. Okay, we were there. I'm stressing the word were because I was there yesterday, all right? So if I'm stressing this word to make a point, I'm also going to use the long pronunciation. But the majority of the time, we're going to use the other pronunciation of this word in English, which is were. Why is that? It's because if we're using this word in a normal phrase, and I'm not stressing it to make a point that we were there, I'm probably going to be stressing other words in that phrase to convey the meaning. For example, if I want to say we were there yesterday, and I'm not stressing, instead of stressing that we were there and the fact that we were in the location, but I'm stressing that we were in that location, which is what would normally happen in English, I might say we were there yesterday, where I stress the word that comes after it, there. We were there yesterday. Or we were there when it happened. Okay? Or we were walking to the bus stop. We were walking to the bus stop. We were walking to the bus stop. If you're going to use a verb after the word were, then unless you want to intentionally stress the word were, you're going to use were in its weak form and then stress the verb that comes after it. Okay? For example, we were walking to the bus stop. We were eating our dinner when it happened. We were talking when I discovered the news. Can you hear there how each of those verbs after the word were was stressed and were itself was unstressed? Again, the reason why we do this is to give English its rhythm and to make it flow. If I was to stress every syllable in English evenly, instead of saying we were talking yesterday, it would sound like we were talking yesterday, we were talking yesterday, where English sounds very flat. It sounds like a robot or a computer speaking. It doesn't sound natural. So unless I'm intentionally stressing the word were, I'm going to use it in its weak form. We were there, we were walking, we were eating. So that is why there are two pronunciations of this word. We've looked at the mistakes that you might be making with both sounds. Now just very quickly, and this is the important bit for you, now follow along with me just to a couple of quick phrases, one with strong pronunciation, the other with weak pronunciation, so that you can actually practice taking this sound and integrating it into your English speaking just like a native. Okay, we'll start with the strong pronunciation. So we're going to say we were. Were you there at the party yesterday? Follow along. We were. We were. We were. Okay. Now, another example with the weak pronunciation of this word, which is the one that you're going to use the majority of the time. We're going to say, we were talking. We were talking. Listen to how it becomes unstressed. Nice and slowly. We were talking. We were talking. We were talking. Can you hear there how quiet it is? It's much shorter than the syllables on either side of it, and it almost disappears, but it's just there very subtly. We were talking. My advice to you now is to write down 20 different verbs that you would actually use in English and practice putting them after the weak form of this word were, and then practice creating your own phrases. And if you do that, you'll be like my most successful clients who join my English pronunciation coaching program and actually do this. And they're the ones that are then able to integrate these words with correct pronunciation into their English speaking. Okay? Now, if you found this tutorial useful, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see other tutorials where I take very important everyday words, show you the mistakes that you might be making with them, and then show you how to confidently pronounce them with British pronunciation, with connected speech, with intonation, with rhythm and stress, watch these videos right here where you're going to see how to start using everyday words in English just like a native would, and you're going to see how to take those words and integrate them into your English speaking just like a native. Check these videos out now. Remember, I'm here fighting for your confidence in English, and I'll see you here in just a second.